guys, Greta Schulz, author of To Sell Is Not to Sell and founder of Schulz Business Solutions. And today I wanted to talk to you about something that I think is really cool online, and it is Google Alerts. Now, some of you may be aware of this and may be using it. So for those of you that are, I want to talk a little bit about how to do it, but then once we talk a little further, I think you guys can use it in different ways. Okay, so Google Alerts is something that you have to have a Google account for, which takes no time. You just go to Google, and up in the top, I believe it's the top right, they have something that says sign in or sign up, and you can click on it and create an account. It's free and it doesn't take very long. Once you do that, you go into all the different things that it does, and one of the things it says is alerts. What happens is anything that you want Google to track for you, to look for you, when it sweeps the web, you put in there. For example, most people put, like I did, our name the first time. So I put Greta Schulz. Well, if you don't put it in quotes, everything that's even similar comes to you. For example, everything Greta Van Susteren did, I got an email about. So if you're going to put a name in there, whether it's yours or a customer's or your company's, you want to go ahead and put some quotes around it. But most of us do that, where if we're using Google Alerts, we put our name, we put our company name, we want to kind of follow what's out there. But I think the most important thing is to make sure you utilize it in other ways. To me, you want to put in there your prospects, you want to put in there your customers, and if you have customers that are that you work with all the time, put them in there specifically. Additionally, if you work in particular segments, for example, if you work in the healthcare industry, if you work in investments, if you work with industries or you want to specialize in particular industries, I would put those in there as well. Because then what you're trying to do here, and there's my dog, and what you're trying to do here is to be an expert in that particular industry. And when you're an expert in that industry, you become more valuable than just somebody who's trying to sell them something. I'll give you an example. I worked with a couple of healthcare companies a few years ago, and they were in the elder care hospice world. So what I did was I put in Google Alerts elder care, hospice care, how Obamacare will affect this industry. And I got a bunch of things back, and as I read through them, some were relevant, some weren't. But as I found things that I thought were interesting, I would take that link and I would send it to the CEOs and VPs in those particular organizations. Say, hey, I didn't know if you knew this, or I thought you'd find this interesting. So all of those things, I think, show that you have some interest and some industry knowledge as opposed to just what you're trying to sell them. So that's something I would recommend you do. So think about the different industries that you work in or that you want to work in, put those in there. And then specific prospects that you're going after, and certainly clients. Now, if you have 500 clients, you can't do that, but maybe your A clients, because you want to know what's going on, even if it has nothing to do with you. I think those things are really important to do, and Google does the work for you. Now, the frustration sometimes is that you put these things in Google Alerts and you get 500 emails, and you go, oh my God, I'm going to quit this. Don't do that. Go back into Alerts and readjust it and tweak it. Maybe you have a category that's too wide and there's too much stuff on it. Because remember, Google sweeps the entire web. So, it's all over the world information. So you want to get it to match as closely as you can. The other issue, though, is you don't want to put it too tight that you don't get enough information. So you do have to play with this a little bit, but all it takes is some time. I have it set up to come to me every day. So at the end of my day, before I kind of, walk away from my computer, I look at those things and I read them. And if anything's relevant, I'll either send them right then to some of those people, or I'll put them, to a side, and I'll do it in the morning. Hey, I thought you'd find this interesting, or I read this about you or your industry or your company, or how does this affect you, or I thought you would like this. Those things keep you top of mind without saying, hey, I've got some new product or service that you have to see. So it keeps you top of mind without always being about you. So I think it's a really important thing to do. Go to Google Alerts, set it up. I think you'll really like it. It's selling.